Take them or leave them, but by 2020, the millennials will make up a third of all adults in the United States.
You may know one, millennials lacking life skills like cooking, budgeting, or time management.
They're not interested in owning a house.
Many millennials say buying a home these days is just not an option.
She is calling millennials the burnout generation.
According to a new study, millennials say that the term snowflake is in fact harmful to their mental health.
Millennials hate this shit. They hate it.
Welcome to another episode of Millennial Malarkey. I'm Adam.
I'm Alec.
I'm Andrew.
And for the last time this season, I'm Jesse.
Jesse, why are you crying, buddy?
It's the last episode of season 1.
It's okay, we'll still be here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're all permanently trapped in these computers. It's just that the public can hear us in a few months or whenever season 2 comes out.
I do not like
but we'll still be here. Slaves to the digital world.
Maybe so.
Yes. So a little bit of housekeeping for those of you at home. This will be the last episode for our very first season of Millennial Malarkey. We're coming out season 2, beginning of the year, 2020.
That's the plan.
Hot and fresh.
Just like Krispy Kreme donuts, just like some rolls out of the oven, like a bubbling green bean casserole.
Like a cold potato salad.
Hot and fresh.
Not
like
quite.
A steamy dog turd. There you go.
Ew.
Yeah, well.
But look out for a bonus episode, I believe, coming out December sometime.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, let's try to.
Happy Chrysler. Yeah. Merry Crisis.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Christmas, everybody.
So yes, this was our very last episode of season 1. We've all very much enjoyed doing this.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody, each and every one of you for listening.
Even
all
to
5
really
of our
means
listeners.
a lot. Yes, all 5 of them.
Even the one in Norway.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Special shout out to that guy.
Especially the one in Norway.
Or girl.
Yeah, 2019. My bad.
Don't
Or
be
like
sexist,
troll.
Alec.
I've seen enough Death Clock to know there's trolls there.
Anyway, how are we doing today, boys?
I have a story.
Do you?
I do.
I'm good. Thanks
So-
for asking, Alec.
All right, now that that's out of the way.
Story time.
Yeah, so I had a very weird experience this morning. I'm actually really glad that we decided to record on Tuesday instead of Monday like we usually do, so that I could
Yes.
experience this and share it with you. I'm not glad I experienced it, but, you know, gotta make it for the lulz.
This anticipation is killing me.
Yeah, okay, so I work at a church, and we have these meetings every Tuesday morning that are kind of like initially my first meeting is like a smaller group where we talk about, you know, stuff coming up on, you know, upcoming Sundays or other events. We talk about, you know, like the previous Sunday, stuff like that. After that is a meeting with the entire staff for our building. And
How many people are at these meetings?
well, for the first one I go to, it's like usually about 5 people, maybe 6.
So that's just like the tech staff or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, essentially. After that, it's the entire staff for the building of that we work at. So that's maybe about 15, maybe 20 people.
Oh, okay. Well, it's still
roughly.
a lot for a church, but
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
So anyway, we go to this second meeting, and lately we've been doing this like book club kind of thing. We've been reading this book that's by like a Christian author, kind of talking about his
Is it
experiences.
the Bible?
No, but that's my issue is that like it's a church. Like the entire thing is already a glorified book club. Like we don't need a second book. But anyway, we've been talking about it, and we just finished the book. The guy who wrote it ends it by talking about how Jesus would wash people's feet. You know, like his disciples, he'd wash their feet. It's like an act of humility, saying like, I am not better than you. You know,
Yeah,
I'm here
that's
to
what it was.
serve. That's
Right.
like the symbolism behind it.
Sure.
So I'm going to avoid names, but our pastor says, he's like, so I thought that was really some powerful imagery, and I think that we should do that. I'm like, what? A lot of people are like, what? And he goes, yeah, like we're going to wash each other's feet. And
no, thank
yeah,
you.
right. Like, so I turned to the girl sitting next to me and I'm like, wait, is he serious? And she goes, I think he is. He's like, yeah, everyone come over here. So like we leave the table, pull our chairs over and form a circle around this little stool. And next to the stool is a little like Rubbermaid of water.
Oh,
And
no.
there's like rags everywhere around it. And so he says like, yeah, we're just gonna go around the circle. Whoever is like sitting to your left, you're gonna get down and like wash their feet, and then you'll do the person to your left. And I'm like very uncomfortable. Like a lot of people are like uncomfortable, right? It's a weird thing to ask, but I am like horrified at this.
Just viscerally
Like
uncomfortable.
I shut down. Like I realized afterwards I was like in the most defensive position possible. Like my legs were crossed, my arms crossed, like kind of like head tilted down. So like the brim of my hat was like covering my eyes. Like I just shut down.
Did you get the cold sweats?
I think a little bit. I'm like shaking right now, like reliving this.
Oh my God.
That bad.
It just freaked me out. I was like, this is a weird thing to do for work. Like getting paid, I'm on the clock to do this right now. Like it
Like
just
that's
felt
something
really
you
weird.
do at home when you have a pretty girl over, maybe some candles.
Oh, let me tell you though,
Oh,
our pastor
what?
decides, yeah, our pastor is like, this is supposed to be like an intimate thing because that's what it is in the Bible. So he tells like these two people that play music, he asked them beforehand to bring their guitars. So they're playing like acoustic guitar, kind of singing a little bit. He turns down the lights and lights a candle on the stool.
No.
It's
What?
like dim. Yeah.
And
Like the music might as well have been
sexy
that.
music comes on.
Right. I mean, they're just like playing like some acoustic guitar
Yeah.
and
Was it some acoustic guitar or Love Volume number 2?
just some acoustic guitar, but still horrifying.
Were there
anyway,
808 drums?
the guy, no.
Okay.
So the guy sitting
just
to my
clicked,
right,
sorry.
who's supposed to like wash my feet, he's a pretty good friend of mine. So I say to him, I'm like, dude, I am not comfortable with this. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, you need to skip me. I cannot be a part of this. And he's like, yeah, that's okay. Like, I don't want to, make you feel weird, whatever. So I appreciate that. So our pastor says, he's like, I'll start, like we'll go around the circle, like you said. And just like Jesus, what I want you to do is as you're like on your knees, like washing this person's feet, I want you to look them in the eye and say, I love you.
Oh, God.
I am like, I feel myself like inching further and further back. Like I am just in the worst.
Do you work for a
position?
bathroom?
I mean, technically, yeah. I joke about that a lot, but in all honesty, it is a cult.
Shots
so anyway,
fired.
like,
Well, even cults pay taxes, right?
I guess. But anyway, so it starts like the pastor starts and like he just washes the feet to the person to his left and it just starts going around the circle. I'm about like halfway around the circle and it gets to my friend on the right and just like he promised, he's like, he just kind of goes past me and goes to the next person. And I'm like really grateful for that. But then of course, people look at me like, well, why is Alec not participating? Like what's going on here? And I'm getting these kind of judgmental looks and it just was not a fun time. And like to be expected to do that, like, I don't know. It was just a really weird experience. And throughout it, like our pastor like pulls out his phone and starts taking pictures.
What even?
I don't know if his plan was to like put them on like our social media, like, oh yeah, like we're living life like Jesus. And I don't know if that's what he was planning, but
Living like Larry. Or
that's
Jesus.
the guy. They're synonyms.
What was that from?
I
Hang
was
on.
freaked
What
out.
was the Living Like Larry from?
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Come on.
Sorry.
So I don't know. So that was my experience. We skipped me and then I just like
Finished the
as soon as
circle.
it finished, like we
Nobody said anything. No one was like, "Oh, come Alec doesn't
no
have to
one
do
no one
this."
said anything to me. which I'm really happy about. But I think that all the other people were uncomfortable too.
Oh, well, they're probably saying something about it at home.
I wonder, but I think I'm probably thinking about this more than anyone else.
No, that is very odd. It's very, very odd.
So anyway, the circle ends, and like our pastor is like, all right, like, let's stand up, let's hold hands and say a prayer. And I'm like, you know what? I can do that. That's not the weirdest thing. That's not the weirdest request from today.
So, but then everyone has feet hands.
I know. So like the first thing I did, like we finished the prayer, and then I immediately like left. Like that was kind of the closing of the meeting. So I was out. I thanked the guy who skipped me. I was like, dude, like, thank you so much. Like that was one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever experienced. Like, thank you for being understanding. He's like, yeah, no problem. So I ducked out. I went upstairs and like washed my hands and left.
Jeez,
yeah.
Dude.
So anyway,
I would wash more than my hands.
Like I'd wash my soul if I could. So
but I think that's what he was trying to get you to do. But
on Tuesdays, that's like my schedule. I go to the church in the morning, and then I go usually get lunch with my dad because it just kind of works out for both of our schedules. And then I go to my other job, which is just basically video editing for another company. And thankfully I was able to talk to like my dad about this over lunch. I was like, this is kind of what happened. Like, I get the symbolism behind the whole, like, let's, wash each other's feet. Like I get the symbolism. It's the status of like, I'm not better than you. I'm here to serve. I get it. But this is a business. Like we are employees and our boss is telling us we have to do that.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, side note, well, kind of side tangential note, but my older brother, he was part of a wedding, and the groom and the bride did that.
They washed each other's feet.
That's different though. That's their choice. We were told we had to do this. I'm just glad no one said anything when I did not participate.
Right. I mean, like, even I think it's a little weird for bride and groom to wash their feet, but their wedding, they do what they want to do. I mean, you work there. Is everybody that works there, is everybody Christian?
Well, yeah, it's kind of required. But again, that's like something that I'm like, technically it's a job. Like you can't really tell someone they can't work here if they're not, but I don't really know.
Okay.
No. So anyway, I was talking to my dad about it, and he was like, I'm just trying to imagine like what would happen if like at my job, like he works in an office. He's like, I wonder what would happen if like, our boss said something like, we're going to do this team building exercise where we wash each other's feet. Like that would not go over.
All right. I have one last question, Alec.
Yes.
Did the pastor at least turn the foot water into wine?
I'm not sure that's how Jesus did it, but I also haven't read that part. Yeah, that was my story from this morning. I kind of just felt like I needed to vent and get some reactions to justify that I'm not, wrong for being completely freaked out.
No, yeah, that's super weird. And it's also kind of weird that they like made you guys, the employees, do that and not make that like a Sunday school teaching thing. Not necessarily in like, the overused joke about priests and kids or whatever, but it just feels like that's a teaching moment type thing that you want to do for people that maybe don't totally understand the Bible or Christianity. And like, why would you do that to employees rather than people that are like actually there to learn? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still processing.
I don't think it'd be cool in either situation.
No.
I'm just picturing you coming back from that and you like go to untie your shoes and like take your shoes off and just like see your feet and start crying.
Well, okay. So when I met my dad for lunch, we were talking just like when we first met up, and he was like, yeah, how's your morning? And I'm like, well, we're going to talk about that. And after all that, he was like, yeah, when I first asked you, like, I saw that you were like visibly upset. I was like, well, that's because I was.
I didn't know I was, but I really was.
Okay, well...
yeah, sorry, I had to, like, vent about that, but thank you guys for listening.
No problem. One thing, if you have your feet in the water, couldn't you just punch the pastor in the face? Because then it's maritime law. And,
oh, my God.
And
look at
like,
me.
you
I am the
captain
now.
Yes. Right? Isn't that how that works?
Totally.
It was in international waters.
Jeez. Actually, I have a funny story about that. But Alec, going back to you, I'm sorry you had to go through that. That's very uncomfortable and
Thank you.
very odd.
Yep.
For someone to put their employees through. I mean, I can see where the pastor meant well. You know?
Yeah.
You know, maybe if he was like, oh, like instead of washing feet, you know, let's put, you know, Germ-X in each other's hands. How's that?
Yeah, like you know what? Let's sanitize each other's hands. It's much more appropriate and definitely more sanitary. Like, because it was the same little Rubbermaid
Was it the
of
same
water.
bucket? Yeah,
Yeah.
You can definitely give each other athlete's foot.
Yeah, like there's definitely some health issues there, right?
Yes, as a resident medical expert. Yeah.
Which, yeah, by the way, Adam, congrats on getting your master's diploma.
Thank you. I just found it.
Nerd.
Oh, and welcome back to Kansas City.
Thank you. It's glad to be back. Shout out to my dad for driving with me and or driving me all the way, or not all the way, halfway across the country. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Shout out to David Luton.
Yep.
Yes.
That's my dad.
Yes. Anyway, going back to the maritime law, have I ever told you guys about the my lacrosse coach? He's an attorney and how he argued an old woman was a sailor.
What? No.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So my coach, my lacrosse coach at Creighton, he was an attorney by day, lacrosse coach at night. And so I think in his younger days, he doesn't work for any big court. He has his own deal now, but he worked for a firm, and the firm represented one of those riverboat casinos. I forget which one it was, but anyway, so they're working a case where this old lady, she had retired from the casino, and she was suing for workman's compensation. And so she had problems with her back or something like that because she was in charge of fixing the slot machines. So she had to constantly bend over and, you know, whatever. And she was, 60 or whatever years old doing this thing for years and years and years, puts a number on your back. So in order to change the, quote unquote, change the laws or the way workman's compensation goes, he had to stand up in a courtroom and convince a judge that because she was on a riverboat, which was on the Missouri River, which is navigable waters, that she is a sailor, and therefore her workman's compensation falls under maritime laws instead of the traditional laws of the state.
Did that
help her?
Was that successful?
Yes, it was actually, the argument did work. And I think he said, because she was asking for like a couple million or something like that, or $1 million or, whatever. But they were able to reduce it down to like, I want to say like 400 or 500,000. So they ended up saving the casino a bunch of money.
Huh.
So it hurt the woman.
Hurt the woman, but saved the corporation. I don't know if I like this. The big guy won.
Yeah.
Not the little guy. Or the little old lady.
I mean, you choose
I
which
always
side
root for the big guy, so.
Yes. Okay, Mr. I love a football team only when they're winning.
That's not true. I've consistently been a Patriots fan, even when we lose, like we did 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago.
And a Lions fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've consistently been a Lions fan too, and we always lose.
And a Browns fan.
I'm not. Okay, hold on.
He's like,
I
okay,
have
wait,
been
how do I catch for all these? I'm like, make sure I'm not going to get caught.
No.
And a Michigan fan.
Ooh, yep.
Okay, wait, hold on a second. When have I ever started trash talking Michigan or the Lions or the Patriots? I've been consistent about liking all of them, through victory and defeat. Hey, I watched the entirety of Super Bowl 51, which, as you guys who watch football know, was looking like a blowout for the Patriots, and I'm sure a lot of Patriots fans across the country tuned out around that 28-3 benchmark in the third quarter because they figured they were going to lose. I watched that whole game. I didn't stop at all.
Was
as
that
far as
the Falcons game?
That was the Falcons blowing
Oh, yeah.
it. As far as the Browns thing goes, I'm not a Browns fan per se. I'm just a Baker Mayfield fan, and whoever
okay.
he
So
plays
walking
for.
it back there. Okay.
No, that's what I've always said. Yeah, I've got two teams that I always root for. The Patriots are number one, Lions are number two, and then of course since Patriots are number one, I root for them whenever they play the Lions. And then the third team is just whoever Baker Mayfield's playing for, although he's kind of pissing me off, to be honest, because pardon my French, because he's clearly taking his personal branding more seriously than he's taking actually practicing the sport of football, and that's kind of bumming me out. But I always root for those three. And then as far as college goes, it's always Michigan number one, and then now I guess KU number two. So I've been consistent with that.
Yes, and then you were the Red Sox number one fan when they won the World Series.
I mean, like I'll always root for the Red Sox and the Celtics and the Bruins because they're also Boston teams.
I'm gonna summarize Andrew with everybody loves a winner. Okay, Thor, I understand. Sorry.
I'm from Boston. I'm a Boston fan. It's not my fault that we win at everything.
Wait. Time out. When did you live in Boston?
I was born in Boston.
How long did you live there?
Like a year.
Listen, I was born in Boston. Okay, I was raised in Boston. I'm from Boston.
My dad's from Boston his whole life.
No, I think that's
was
Boston,
born
actually.
there.
That was kind of New York.
I don't really know. I think that was
baby.
Jersey.
It's New York.
That's
that
just
was
like Sylvester Stallone.
No, that was Sylvester Stallone. Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's great. It's great.
Yeah, no, the all Boston teams are my teams for that sport. It's just that the only sport that I actually care about is football. And then it's just like, I'll watch playoff hockey and playoff baseball because football's not on anymore. So,
right. Okay. Wait. Where have you lived the longest?
Kansas City.
Woo.
Okay.
Yeah. But
I'm just gonna leave it there.
Okay. So the thing is, I lived in Boston for that year. But Boston sports has always been what's on the TV because my dad's from Boston his whole life, grew up a strict or, a hardcore fan of all those teams. So it's always been on, whether it's been living in Virginia or Boston or wherever. But born in Boston for the year, moved out to I spent a few assorted weeks in little cities in Alabama and, Mississippi, wherever, I don't know, with my dad's military stuff. Was in Seattle for 6 months. After that was in Hawaii for a year or something like that. Then went to Newport News, Virginia for 3 years, Richmond, Virginia for 4 years, Cleveland for a year, Kansas City, and then, up to Ann Arbor and now out here in Nashville. So, I mean, the thing is just moving around all that often, what, should I be a Browns fan because I lived in Cleveland for a year? Should I, watch and cheer for the Redskins because I lived in Virginia for 7? It just felt like, what, the place that's always going to mean something to me is my birthplace, which is Boston, which just also happens to be the as that I grew up watching because they were my dad's teams. So those are my teams. And as soon as I moved to Kansas City in 5th grade, a lot of the teachers at the elementary school I went in, or I, started at, which I will let it remain unnamed, made it very clear that I didn't belong with them and I didn't fit in with their group. And so at that point, it was just kind of well, all right, I'm not going to even try and integrate with Kansas City culture, except for barbecue, because that's undeniably great. So made it easier.
We'll leave it with this. You can root for any team you want to. It's just that your teams always suck, Andrew.
I'll say that the Patriots probably suck to you from an outsider moral perspective. The Lions suck from being terrible. And yeah, Michigan sucks from not being able to beat Ohio State. But maybe this is the year.
It might be.
It won't be. It won't be. I'll be Adam, I think it was you that came over for that game in 2016 when it went to double overtime, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I just immediately after that last play where they walked in untouched, just went up to my room and was just I'm going.
Yeah, I was I think I gotta go home or something.
I was so mad.
Mom's calling. No, I don't think you're sitting down at all for that game.
Yeah, oh my God, dude, that I can't even. And that I know Adam and I are the only two here that actually care about football to some extent. at least college football, because I know that Alec, you root for the Chiefs, and like I think Jesse, you kind of do, at least in spirit, a little bit.
I have the same thing that you have about Boston, is that when I see that they're doing all right, it's like, all right, I still like the Chiefs. I'm not really proud of the Chiefs this season, but this season they're doing all right. Okay, I'll be proud of them. And it's like they're my home team. It's who I root for. So
was that Thor whining in the back?
Thor is.
He needs a snack.
He has
Give him
had
some treats.
so many snacks tonight. He had eggs and some cheese, and I fed him. And like he is just whining, and this is new.
But maybe he needs a belly rub to help it settle.
I have been playing with him. I've been muting my mic and playing with him on the floor, and like crawling down on all fours and like chasing him around and stuff. And he is. This whining is new. I need to just ignore him because I do not want him constantly whining at me.
Yeah, you're definitely reinforcing that behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're a
dogs are cute. My neighbor just got a dog.
Daddy.
Oh, didn't you send some Snapchats of that?
Yes.
Yeah. So she actually works with me. Her and her roommate both do, and they just got like a free beagle puppy from this other guy at work that like has a bunch of beagle puppies. So that's fun.
How do you just have a bunch of beagle puppies? Oh, you probably have a beagle that gave birth to a bunch of beagle puppies.
Yeah, that would do it.
He gets there eventually. He's a little slow. But...
Okay. Sometimes I wonder why I have a master's degree.
You have a
I was about
master's
to say,
degree?
right now you have the highest education of all of us in terms of diplomas received, I believe, right?
Okay. You want to start a fight? This is how you start a fight.
No,
diplomas
Jesse,
received.
I'm not. Yeah, in pieces of paper currently in hand, Adam is the most accomplished of us.
Yeah, I paid for the most for my education.
Listen here, you little piece of junk. Okay, let me tell you what. Okay?
Way to keep it PG.
I was keeping it PG.
Yeah. Let's save the dirty talk for later, Jesse.
Jesse, when do you start your PhD?
My FUD, I'm gonna start in January. Hopefully, I'll finish up the work for my master's and start writing papers for my master's in January. It's gonna be a really bad next 6 months. I'm gonna start my new project, work on somebody else's project. Andrew, how dare you?
Sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Long story short, there's a lot that I have going on in that month, so it's just going to be kind of rough at first, but I'll be fine. It's fine. I'm fine. Anyhow, continue. Andrew, what's your story?
Well, I was just going to say, speaking of a rough coming 6 months, I figured, this is the season finale. Adam obviously just got back to Kansas City, but he's got things coming up. Jesse, you've got things coming up. I'm sure Alec and I do. I figured maybe it'd be a good way to kind of, before we get to the Would You Rather, just kind of wrap this season up with us all kind of saying what we're going to be doing over the next few months, whether that's for break or down the road or whatever. Well, since we're going to have all this time off. So,
yeah.
So, I mean, Jesse, that would include you going into more detail about that. But
okay.
I think it'd be a good idea because also I am a little unclear with some of the specific details for everyone, too. And it would be nice to have that on recording so I don't have to ask the same questions all over again. I can just come back, listen to this before we hang out and be like, oh yeah, that's what's going on. Okay.
Right. That's not a
good idea.
Not a bad idea.
Andrew, love it.
Thank you. Gold star for me. Right.
Yeah.
I
Bless
can't
you,
award
mister.
myself one.
Bless you.
I'll give you a 3-pointed star, which I guess is just a triangle. You get a gold
I'm
triangle.
going to start calling those 3-pointed stars now.
Anyway, Jesse, continue.
All right. So over the break coming up, I have to basically finish. I've got a conference. January is basically like the worst month. I've got a conference at the end of the month. And so
wait, is it because me and Alex's birthdays are in January?
No, that would make it the best month, except for the second best month because my birthday's in April. Got him. And Andrew, sorry, your birthday month doesn't count because
No, it doesn't. I agree.
any wow, that's depressing.
You didn't think I was going to roll over like that, did you?
No, I really didn't. Okay, so basically at the end of January, I have a test. It's called a qualifier, and it's I've had people who I'm friends with take it already who ultimately say that it's not going to be too bad, but it's kind of one of those tests that you can't just kind of mess around with. It's like a sink or swim. Like either you pass it or you fail it, and like you get one more shot at it. And if you don't pass it, then basically you're kind of kicked out of grad school. So like this test bears weight is kind of what I'm saying. It's one of those. And so I will be studying for that. And so as long as I study for it, the test is in early January. I talked about conference and then the qualifier. I'm so sorry. I have the conference coming up, and I'm currently working and trying to get all my research done for what I'm going to present at the conference in Daytona Beach, Florida. Don't get excited. It's Florida in January. It's cold. So before that gets done, I have to worry about my my qualifier, and so that means right now I should also be studying for that, which I can't because I'm trying to finish out some school stuff because I still go to school full time. Well, full time for a grad student, and then I'm also trying to get ready and like finish my master's work, start my PhD work, and kind of just all these balls are up in the air, and like I'm trying to learn how to juggle as I go apparently, and it's just a lot to keep track of. So I'm kind of stressed. I'm okay. There's not really anything to complain about. I see a way forward. It's very stressful. So like somebody pointed out to me, I'm going to be fine. Just suck it up and move on. The other day, but it's also the process of like dealing with, okay, this is still on my plate. I have more to do. So, but that's what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a lot of education based things over the break. So,
all while being a doggy daddy.
He's going to go home
Emphasis
over
on
Thanksgiving, and he's going to live with my parents over Thanksgiving. So I'm going to have a week off, which will be kind of nice.
Nice. Good.
That's me. Who's next?
Yeah. I can go.
Go, Adam.
What
are you doing?
Pretty easy. So I start my job. I'll be doing adjunct professor for a college of nursing here in Kansas City. I'll be teaching. Money. Yeah, I know, right?
What does adjunct
what's that
mean?
So basically, you're either adjunct. Literally means like in addition to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so basically I am like quote unquote support staff. So it's like hiring out contract work. So instead of getting paid a salary, you get paid per credit hour. It's still good pay for what it is. But you're on a non-tenure track, which I'm not seeking tenure, so it's okay for me. So I'll be teaching anatomy and physiology, I believe, 2 to nursing students. So the semester starts January 6th. It's a 15-week semester. But beforehand, I'll be studying for the MCAT. For those of you that don't know, that is the entrance exam for medical school. It is very important. It is very long. It's an 8-hour test. They haven't opened up test dates as of the recording, but I'll be taking that test either January or February, somewhere in there.
That's like the qualifier. It's about that long. It's like a whole day thing, and it just basically kills you, and you have to study for months and months before.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to study for many more months. That is a much harder test than what I'm gonna take. But
yes,
I partially feel your pain.
Yeah, I've been. I think so far I've written down like over 200 pages of notes. Read probably about 1,000 pages of textbook.
Should take notes from Jancy, my sister, who. She does this and has done this kind of testing, I don't know, probably like 10, 12, maybe 15 times.
Yeah, so she does
for her actuarial exams. And yeah, you study for months and months and months before. She actually almost gave herself, what do you wear the special wrist brace for?
Carpal tunnel.
Yeah, she almost gave herself carpal tunnel because she was writing so much. She had those really, really big, thick notebooks, and she had like filled them out and like killed so many pens writing ink or writing with ink and writing these problems out.
I believe it.
Yeah,
and
so she was using for her last day of practice, 2 days before the exam, she was using a marker to draw everything because it was easier to hold than a pen.
Ow.
Yeah, so she gets it, man. So keep putting in the work. She'll tell you that it's worth it when you pass that MCAT. In your case,
heck yeah,
it's going to be worth it.
All right, who's next?
Wait. Can I go back to your teaching thing real quick?
Sure.
So you said you'd be teaching anatomy and physiology 2. Is that right?
I believe so. Yes.
Would that class be open for auditing?
Oh, that'd be funny.
Like could
That'd
a
be
person come and just like observe and not like actually be a part of the class?
I'm gonna have to say no, because I think I know where this is going.
I just want to watch you teach.
Actually, yeah, that'd be really fun.
No. Well, Andrew, I might make you stay after class. Extra credit.
Yeah, you don't want to give that pitch to Andrew. He'll take that in a direction you probably don't want.
Hey, we're keeping
Oh
it
no,
PG.
I
Keep
want
it
him
PG.
to pitch that to me. Wink.
All right, who's next?
Yeah.
Andrew, go ahead.
Alec, you want to go? Oh, okay.
Nah,
me
all
time.
you.
Okay, cool. So for me, obviously, I'm still trying to put off the whole I need to go to law school thing. So what I'm going to be doing over the next few months is I'm in this kind of 3-piece band right now with my buddies Matt and Zach doing this sort of pop punk stuff. So at the moment, we've got a big old spreadsheet on Google Drive with a bunch of band names that we've kind of whittled down. So the goal is to have the band name picked out and social media accounts created by January 1st. And then we've been working on a few original songs. So we're going to, I think ultimately the plan is to kind of do a rough sort of demo EP type thing with just like the two of them, Matt and Zach, doing the vocal duties on that. And us just kind of knowing like, okay, well, you know, down the road, we want a dedicated vocalist and, you know, probably not just the two of them. But for now, we need to start churning some stuff out so that we can kind of make our band more appealing to have other people join on, because it's one thing to, you know, go up and see a singer or something like that you want to work up with and be like, hey, I've got a couple friends, we're jamming, we'd like you to come along, without really anything to show them. It's a whole separate thing to be like, yo, this is the band name, we have recorded music, you know, we've got this many followers on social media and we've been posting and we're active, and you know, that's probably a little bit more promising for someone else that wants to come along. So we're just we've got a bunch of stuff we're pretty much good to post in terms of covers of songs, and then, you know, just trying to finish up a few originals which we've got cooking up right now so that we can go record those. So that'll be fun.
Record your own version of Cooking by the Book.
Pardon me?
Record your own version of Cooking by the Book and make your band name Ready
Cooking
by 7.
the Book. Yeah, Ready by 7 actually will be one of the ones moving into the final list. Basically, with the Google Drive, there's like honestly probably 3 or 4 dozen band names right now, and we've just all went and put our initials by our favorites, and so it's just there's 3 of us. So any of them with 2 or more we keep, and after 2 or 3 days, and everyone's had a chance to think on them, we'll keep, and the ones that only have 1 or no votes next to it we'll get rid of. So right now Ready by 7 does have 2 votes and is moving on to next round. However, it doesn't have 3 votes, which a few other ones do, so I don't think that's ultimately going to be the band name. So yeah, so we'll see, but definitely feels like more solid progress than me just trying to go downtown, you know, once a week or twice a week to see other singer-songwriters playing and convince them to come along and join something that's out of their comfort zone. So at least we'll get something moving here, which is good, and I'm happy about, because it keeps me from thinking too hard about going to grad school. So
that's not a good idea.
Yeah. Well, and like I already know I'm not gonna like law school, and like, you know, I'm sure being a lawyer is okay, but I don't know that I want to do that. So it's just like, you know, I'm really trying to avoid that if possible. So
When is your one? I didn't hear
that's
it.
me. But Alec, what's going on with you? I know there's a few things kind of big going on in your personal life and the personal life of people related to you. So I'm interested to see
like
you know, how you're. So I'm interested to see, you know, what's going on with you.
Well, real quick, I want to say that I'm kind of excited about like the idea of like, as you know, season 2, 3, however long we can keep doing this. Like, I want to see this like growth where like over time we slowly see Andrew and his like musical career start to like take off. I think thatd be really cool to kind of use this where we talk about it.
Name.
Yeah, well, it's like using this as like a platform to like talk about. But that can be like our overarching like storyline for a season where you guys are just trying to find a band name. But no, I want to see like this is like a good platform for like seeing that growth.
Oh, dude, yeah, it'd be super cool if like a season or 2 down the road, you know, like my band's actually functioning. Maybe we have a bass player and a singer. We're out, you know, maybe touring a little bit, not on a big tour. Jesse's got some big patent or something going on. Adam's got his first malpractice suit. Alec, you're out there killing it on one of the coasts doing some videos or something. Like, that'd be really cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
Taping Jay-Z.
It's funny you say that.
No thanks. No, so anyway, I don't know what's going on in my life. It's kind of like I'm just waiting to see, what's happening. Kind of waiting for like a full-time thing to come along, and we'll see where that goes, what happens. As of my immediate plans for the next couple of months,
Borderlands.
Absolutely, hopefully this weekend.
Yes, me and Alec have some Borderlands to catch up on.
Yes, we do. But we'll bring this full circle. I stated before that I work for a church, so with Christmas coming up, like that's the busy season. That's when we'll be like really swamped with a bunch of stuff going on. There's like a kids choir concert thing coming up that we'll be working at, and then of course like the 8 different services we have to do, like going into Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Like it's just a lot that's going to be happening all at once. But I don't know, it's money, so
Dude.
'Tis the season.
Tis the season.
Gotta make that money.
Tis the season for money.
All right, let's end it with a would you rather question.
Cool.
The last one is season 1.
Oh, I hope it's a good one.
All right, coming in hot. Who wants it first?
Me.
Yeah.
Jesse.
Do it, Jesse.
Would you
Andrew.
rather never be able to eat meat or never be able to eat vegetables?
That's pretty easy.
Really?
Yeah, because I, as Andrew, we're doing this again.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, okay.
You got
okay,
it.
Andrew.
Thank you. Okay. Yes, I appreciate that, Jesse. Let's see. This would be Adam. I'm talking to you now. Make sure that you know what your name is, Adam.
Yes.
No. Oh, God. You ruined it. Okay, anyhow.
Did I? I'm not sure what I ruined.
Yes, Alec, you were not supposed to talk. Adam was supposed to. Anyhow, I would easily never eat vegetables again. Vegetables are good when you cook them right and have a little bit of seasoning or whatever. But meat is so delicious. There are so many ways you can cook a fillet or a sirloin or a porterhouse. And
same thing with potatoes.
Oh, I mean, okay, sure. Oh my God, French fries. Wait, hold up.
Yeah. French fries, baked potatoes, grilled potatoes.
Nah, eggs. Oh my God, no hash browns. Oh my God.
Jesse's about to have a panic attack.
I'm Andrew. Thank you very much, Jesse. Okay, you know what?
Well, you know what the worst part of this is, Jesse? You like Z-Man sandwiches, right?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, you can't have the onion rings on them now.
Oh, I'd have to be Dunyan rings with them onion rings, dude. Let's see. I would still probably say meat. I'd still probably say the meat. I'd only want to eat
really
red meat, white meat, whatever, because vegetables are okay, but where are you gonna get the sustenance to keep up at the gym if you go that route? You'd have to eat a lot of tree nuts.
Vegans and vegetarians are a thing.
Oh, you can get a lot of calories. Potatoes, squash.
I mean, yeah, but protein.
Potatoes and squash.
Kale, soy, tofu.
Kale,
hey,
soy.
You don't need protein.
Well there's a couple I forget what it is. There's a couple nutrients that you can only get from meat.
I believe you're thinking of essential amino acids.
Probably.
So there are a group of amino acids that our bodies cannot synthesize by themselves. So we have to get them from other places. But make supplements for that. You're fine.
That's true.
And Fruity Pebbles has 6 grams of protein.
Does it really?
I have no idea, but Fruity Pebbles are delicious.
I'm gonna contradict you there and say that the off-brand of Fruity Pebbles, like Fruity Dino Bites or whatever, is way better.
I would have never even tried them.
You should. All right, continue, Jesse. Your opinion on this question.
Ooh,
Yeah.
throwback.
Yeah, right. Man, I'd have to say I'd probably give up meat. I don't know. I just honestly, as long as I have bread and cheese, I'm happy. And I just feel like I'd feel so unhealthy without ever eating vegetables and like only eating meat, just like from a congested perspective. That it's just like, you know, I mean, we just like feel like you're thick from just like eating nothing but protein. Like
The meat sweats.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't want to just live like that. So like as much as it would suck to give up some smoked brisket from Q39 and some chicken Z-Mans, like, you know, I can function without meat probably easier than vegetables. So I'd probably give up meat.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Alec?
Yeah. Ugh.
I think I'm with Andrew. It's
Yay.
not ideal, but I think that'd probably be the easiest way. Because I mean, like you said, there are people that live like that, and like you said, Adam, there's, you know, supplements or whatever you can take, and I agree with Andrew. It'd be so hard to like feel healthy without eating vegetables. I don't know. It would really suck, but
yeah,
not as much as like dying.
Right. I'm definitely going with meat. What was the question? I forgot the question already.
You asked it.
I know, right?
Would you rather live without meat or live without vegetables? I
would live without meat. I think it's a lot easier to live without meat than it is vegetables. Vegetables are a lot more diverse in, like, you know, textures and nutritional value and stuff like that. Meat, it's basically ground meat or regular meat, and then you got fish and chicken. I guess you also have pork, but I guess it's either ground or sliced.
Well,
So-
you might have pork. I don't.
Yeah, but plus you could maybe work around and say beef broth is a thing or chicken broth. You know, it can technically not meat. It's just flavored water. So,
I don't
definitely.
know. I mean, like, I think that still counts as like using meat for your food. I'm not sure how this works with our wording.
It
but
should if it doesn't.
Yeah.
if the wording is don't eat meat, you're fine. But if it's living without meat, I'm not sure you can say that.
Yeah, I definitely. It's never be able to eat meat. So
Okay, you're fine. You found a loophole.
Take it how you will. I mean, but like even if you couldn't have, you know, beef broth or chicken broth, definitely vegetables, because I think they're more diverse and you can definitely do a lot more with vegetables than you can with meat, in my humble opinion.
Well, then, tune in next season when we report in on our new vegetarian lifestyles.
Hell yeah.
Except for Jesse, who will be totally blocked up.
Yes. Look out for some sort of bonus episode in the near/far/medium distance future.
We'll probably say something about it on Twitter.
Yeah. Our Twitter handle is @MillMalarkey. That's @MILL Malarkey. Catch us next year. See ya.
Peace.
Bye, boys.
Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah or whatever you subscribe to.
Kwanzaa.
That's the one.
All right. I have one last question, Alec.
Yes.
Did the pastor at least turn the foot water into wine?
I'm not sure that's how Jesus did it, but
Oh.
I also haven't.
I mean,
read
Jesus
that
also
part.
died, so
I mean,
that's what you guys should have done. Is just like taking turns crucifying each other.
Oh.
Like, you know, Jesus died for our sins, and that's the ultimate act of forgiveness, or whatever all that stuff is. So today we're all gonna get nailed to wooden teeth.
that's a bit much.
Compared to that, I don't know, man. I'd rather take some nails through the hand than doing that.
You know, it's not a bad alternative.